Yes, Mani, your voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking now. Is it correct?
Yeah, it's clear
Just
now. It's clear now. So, we will start exactly at 11:30. So, okay, Mani, let's start. Welcome everyone. Welcome to our webinar on energy conservation building code. I would like to welcome our speaker, Mr. Mani Khanna. He is one of the most vibrant person I have ever met. He is a BWE certified ECVC master trainer and also a Griha CP, IGBC AP, GEM CP, and Solar PV TOT certified trainer. He is currently working in Punjab Energy Development Agency, Chandigarh. He is involved in implementation and enforcement of ECBC in commercial and residential projects in the state of Punjab. He is also a secretary of ASHRAE Chandigarh chapter and zonal chair of North Youth ISHRAE. And he is also a Urja Varan core committee member of our ISHRAE HQ. So now I would like to welcome Mr. Mani so that he can start his seminar. Mani, please.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Ankur, for introduction. And I would like to thank Surat chapter, ISHRAE Surat chapter, and Ankur especially for connecting me and giving us opportunity for to showcase what is energy conservation building code and how it is being implemented in the states, various states in India, and it is going to be mandatory soon in each and every state. So yes, this is the topic today. We are uh, hearing about energy conservation building code, what it is, how it is being implemented, and how it is correlates with the several other industry like HVAC industry, electrical, mechanical, civil industry, how we can integrate this ECBC with all the engineers and professionals. Right. So as you all know, we are battling the virus these days, and we all know, we all at home and hearing this to get some knowledge getting platform, and we are battling the why we are discussing about buildings. What is energy efficient building and why we are discussing energy efficient buildings? So this is the major requirement which we need to discuss, and this is all only. Directly jumping to the topic, we must need to aware about some facts which we can see some of the consequences in our environment and how it is actually degrading our environment. So that is the some of the facts which we need to focus upon. This is the impacts of global warming we are seeing everywhere, the rising sea levels, the coastal flooding, frequent severe storms, the melting glaciers. I think in this season as well, we heard a news the glaciers are melting in the month of January or February. Unprecedented snowfall. There are some of the areas in cold region where there was no snow before 5 years before. But last year and this year we have seen the unprecedented snowfall. These are some of the consequences like excessive rainfall and floods. So 2 years back we have seen this excessive rainfall and flood in Kerala and Srinagar, where there is a major consequences have been happening to the environment. So destructive wildfires, intense heat waves. We all know 5 years before it was around maximum 35 to 38 degrees Celsius temperature. But these days we all know, so outside temperature is increasing up to 45, even 48 degrees Celsius. And in addition to that, the relative humidity is also increasing. Extreme drought conditions. We all know in India there are some conditions, some areas where there is enough quantity of enough water available. But these days, some of the areas where extreme drought condition we are seeing and happening everywhere. Acute water shortage, increase in extreme weather events is felt everywhere. Emission of CO2, major cause of global warming that we are seeing. The emission of CO2 is majorly due to the emission, carbon emission released by the air conditioner, released from the buildings, industries, transport. The pollution which are emitting from these type of resources, it is majorly causing and release of carbon emission to the environment. And you can see in just 130 years, carbon emission, carbon dioxide emission have been already increased by 45% in India. So India tops world in air pollution. I hope you all know. So we have celebrated last year 5th June as a World Environment Day. So we are celebrating World Environment Day every year, and every year the theme is changing. Last year it was changed plastic, beat plastic pollution. This year the theme was beat air pollution. And Delhi among the 15 worst cities and most polluted mega city which has been considered under PM 2.5 and PM 10. So yes, the theme is air pollution. You have all seen. So last year in 2019, the host country of this World Environment Day was China, and the theme is air pollution, and the host country was China. So be it air pollution that in discussing how the environment is degrading, how our air quality is degrading these days. So of crops we are seeing in majorly in northern region. So we are seeing the burning of crops and the pollution from thermal power plants, which are also creating degradation to our environment. Burning of waste and crackers, as we all know, during the Diwali season, we all discussed about go green, celebrate green Diwali, eco-friendly Diwali. So why there is no need to burn crackers, because it is also impacting and it is very harmful to our environment and the human being who are survival to the environment. Smoke and air pollution, yes, in major cities, in major metro cities like Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore, this is the smoke which we have seen during the last 3 or 4 years during the winter season, and due to low dew point, there is a fog which we can see during the winter season. And addition, there is also smoke, which is also a carbon emission or pollution from the buildings, from the industry, from the transport. These are all various types of resources that you can see. So in smoke and fog, there is a combination which is also known as the smoke. So which we have seen during the last few years. And air pollution. Air pollution is a main, because as you all know, there is IAQ, indoor air quality or indoor environmental quality we are discussing these days as a very topic. So this is also increasing and hard to find clean air for breathing. So due to this consequences and due to this smoke condition, there is a hard to find clean air for breathing, and our right is to have clean air, clean breath, so that we can have a better environment. As humans, we all spend 90% of our time at indoors, and we seek spaces that allow us to breathe easy, to give us views of nature and daylight, and to make us healthier and more productive. We all need fresh air so that we can have a good lifestyle in our indoors as well. Because if there is a more bad environment or a major environment with the bad air quality and increase in air temperature and humidity, so that we need to have thermal comfort at indoors, so that we need to have fresh air as well to improve our air quality at indoors as well. So the theme is again the beat air pollution, which you have seen, and the what is the impact and environmental effects during the coronavirus. As we all know, during this discussing about coronavirus across the globe, but there is another additional advantage to the environment we can see, as we all at home, and there is no energy consumption and there is no pollution from the buildings and industries. Everything is stopped and we all at home. So domestic energy consumption has been increased. You can see the respective commercial and industrial energy consumption have been reduced by more than 40% these days in coronavirus, as per the report Times of India and the Ministry of Power. So cleaner air, cleaner water, we can see and think how the air quality, how the air temperature was outside. And after coronavirus, there is a complete clean air for breathing, and outside air is also now have been improved, is increased as per the best efforts of the human existence. So we need to think something to the environment, because when there is everything running in the commercial, in regular, domestic, and we all working and moving from here to there, from office to the home or home to office, moving to industries. So we all doing work, but we are getting something from the environment, but we are not focusing on giving something back to the environment. So that we also need to think upon. The environment around in these last 20 days, we can see the nature breaths again. We can see the air quality have been reduced, air quality have been better, and the AQI have been reduced up to 20 as per considered under PM2.5 and PM10. Clean environment is clean, air is good, and the temperature is also have been reduced. Lockdown effect if you can compare it with November 3 to March 23, as per Times of India, it is a major impact in the air quality index. It was 494, but as comparison to 3rd of November in comparison to March of 23, the air quality index, majorly air quality index have been reduced up to 124 as per the study considered before March 23. So if you can see at the air quality index by April, so at Delhi itself, the air quality index have been reduced up to 35. So it's a major environmental impact due to this coronavirus seen. So the vision is to create a peaceful and sustainable earth, which will give us strength for the future. And yes, why we are discussing about buildings? So there is an answer. So in 2010, you can see 659 million square meter the area have been constructed, and it was expected and it was estimated by McKinsey. So 9, it was 2030. By 2030, there is only 34% area has been constructed, and 66% area is have been constructed by 2030. So we all know when there is a building, when it will be designed and constructed at the ground level, it will be last longer for more than 50 years, 100 years. We can also reduce, it can also responsible for more than 30 to 40% of carbon emission in the environment. So this is the major impact which we can see. Buildings, why we are discussing about the buildings, these are major cause. We are a country of 1.35 billion people, and it's still counting, which is equivalent to around 20% of the total global population. India is committed to reduce its carbon intensity by 33 to 35. I hope you all have heard this news. India has signed a Paris Act where there are many countries across UNDP, UN. Many of the countries have been a part, where India is one of the countries where we have signed an agreement, and we have committed to reduce our carbon intensity by 33 to 35% by 2030. It has been estimated, and the commitment, and there is a famous by Thomas Fuller: "We never know the worth of water till the well is dry." So I'm sure you all are agree to it, and you all can understand the meaning of this quote. So we all need to know about the building part, how the environment and how we are constructing this building day by day, how it is increasing the building footprint day by day. So we all can see previously 5 to 10 years before, around our environment, around our buildings, it was all green land everywhere. But now what we are converting from natural land to the man-made land. It is complete jungle we are creating. We are taking something from the environment, but we are not have accepted anything where we can provide some environment. So world's population since the last 100 years, in 1920 to 2050, you can see by 2018 it has been
Hello everyone. There is some technical issue at the speaker's end. We will start in 5 minutes. Please wait for 2 minutes. We will start it in some time.
अब दिख रहा है सब कुछ ठीक है. So I am audible, Ankur? Right. Apologize for this technical glitch. I think we need to move further. I think we need to move further.
Yeah, sure, Mani, sure.
Yes, 1920, as we are discussing about 1920 to 2050, more than 9 times the world's population have been increased. And the green worries about it, as the buildings are responsible for more than 40 energy use, 30% of the raw material, 20% of the water, and 20% of the land use, which is a great impact. And buildings are more responsible for this energy consumption and another factor as well. So that is why we are discussing about ECBC and green buildings these days. And buildings are also responsible for 40% of the carbon emission. As we all discussed, India is one of the countries where we have signed a Paris Agreement, where the target is to reduce our carbon intensity. So 40% of the carbon emission is caused basically by the buildings only, 30% solid waste, and 20% of the water effluents. So changing trends is growth in economy, advancement in technology, and emerging lifestyle. As we all know, the growth we can see. Buildings are coming up day by day. Larger commercial buildings are coming. Advancement in technology, which we can see, like from the lighting perspective, if you can consider only from last 10 years, 20 years, you can see how the technology in the lighting sector have been increased. How the technology have been increased in air conditioning sector. Many air conditioners have been developed like now these days, up to 5-star air conditioner. Now it is increased up to inverter air conditioner. There is more technology is increasing day by day, and the lifestyle is also, yes, if we can sit in everywhere, like in home, in office, in any commercial buildings, if we can enter in any mall, then we can get the thermal comfort requirement. Like in summer, there is complete 24 to 25 days with the help of air conditioner. In the winter season, with the help of boilers or heat pumps, we can use to make the temperature thermal comfort. If we can sit in our car, we need to switch on air conditioner in the summer and winter as well in the heater. So the lifestyle is also been changing the last few years. So what is the context? We are developing this glass building everywhere, glass buildings, tall buildings, commercial buildings. You can see this types of buildings, large commercial buildings, complete facade is glass, but you can see in this 80%, more than 80% of the glass have been covered by the curtains. So the objective of putting glass everywhere to the facade have been defeated. Why? Because we are putting glass only to capture natural daylight. So in this example, more than 80% of the light, natural light, have been increased. But in addition to it, it is also adding solar heat gain inside the building. So which can impact more heat gain inside the building. In addition to this, there are several types of building where we are providing individual air conditioners, individual desert coolers across the buildings. In government buildings like this is one of the example where we are just focusing on increasing our energy consumption. We are increasing our cost, we are increasing our energy consumption, but we are not responsible for energy saving parameter, energy saving systems. We can put here VRF system, we can put here radiant system, geothermal system. Many of the technologies are available, but we are not much focusing towards that. How we are seeing in Delhi, larger commercial building, glass buildings. If you can change and shift to the another climatic zone, again tall buildings, glass buildings majorly. Again a different climatic zone, Kolkata, again commercial buildings, tall buildings, glass buildings. We are not majorly responsible how we need to develop design and construction of such buildings in such a way that it must be climate responsive buildings, and we can also need to shift our objective towards more energy efficient and green buildings these days. So what is the breakdown of energy consumption? You can see major 33% of the India total energy consumption in India, 40% is consumed, 42% is consumed in industry, 17% is agriculture, other 8% and 33% in buildings only. So if you can see the breakup 33%, 24 and 9%. Major 33% of the buildings can be seen. The breakup major energy consumption is can be seen in the domestic and commercial buildings, commercial sector. So, and more than 90% of the energy consumption have been used by the air conditioning system and the lighting system, which are more focused area these days. Why in ISRE as well, in as well, we can see the major global push is creating energy saving, energy efficient appliances, energy efficient system in air conditioning as well, and energy efficiency in the lighting systems as well, which is now have been increased. And also, when we are increasing global push towards air conditioning and energy efficiency in and lighting and energy efficiency, so we can also definitely move forward for the energy savings in building sector as well. So commercial buildings forecast, you can see in 2017 existing building is 1.4 billion square meter. But if we can see a prospective total global for commercial building forecast is 2.2 billion square meter till 37 to 2037. So there is a existing is total 61%. So now last I have seen you the comparison which you can see it was around till 2030, but now the analysis have been increased by 2037 by Ministry of Power itself and Niti Aayog. The analysis have been seen is 61% is the existing and 39% of the area is still yet to be constructed by till 2037. So accountability is main 1100 billion units of electricity is consumed and 1 billion square meter have been added by 2030. 1 billion square meter is to be added by 2030. And if any building is constructed, it will be last longer for more than 50 years, 100 years. And if you can see, if you can implement basic design and energy efficient features in the construction and implementation, you will definitely save up to 50% energy saving in your building, and it will definitely save your cost in capital cost as well, in operational cost as well. So energy saving potential is also can be increased up to 300 billion units we can save by 2030 if we can all work together and work towards India move toward energy efficiency in the building sector. Energy codes, many codes, some of them are mandatory, some of them are voluntary. So in India, it's one of the country where many of the states have implemented this code as mandatory, and some of the states are doing as voluntary approach. ECBC, yes, this is our topic today. ECBC, Energy Conservation Building Code. It was developed in May 2007, which was developed by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I am sure you all are aware about Bureau of Energy Efficiency, who is a subsidiary of Ministry of Power, who regulates all the energy efficiency in buildings, industry, and all appliances part. So it is a major Indian push towards energy efficiency in the buildings, appliances, industries, everywhere in the country is developing by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Energy Conservation Building Code. So this is the code which has been released, and this code, all the states have amended this code as per the state's requirement and as per their climatic conditions. Now, all the states have been amended as a voluntary approach, and after then they have created that code as per their state requirement, as per their climatic conditions, and they have made this code as mandatory in the upcoming commercial buildings in the state. What is the objective and scope? Objective is to provide minimum requirements for energy efficient building design and construction and their systems. So like as we are seeing and across India, across you can see a global push. At this stage, we are developing, we are designing and constructing our building at a conventional level. And if we can create above benchmark level, which would be defined as ECBC. ECBC is applicable to the building who are having connected load is more than 100 kilowatt, contract demand more than 120 kVA, and recommended for all buildings having conditioned area more than 500 meters square. But yes, there is a star mark over all three conditions. It is because all the states can adopt and can amend as per their state requirement. If there are no commercial building more than 50 kilowatt, then they can amend and can implement this code at 50 kilowatt as well. But in northern region and most of the states, irrespective of Sikkim and Himachal, they have reduced the connected load. But across all India, they have made mandatory for all the buildings having connected load more than 100 kilowatt, and the conditioned area, buildings having conditioned area is more than 500 meters square. So that buildings must need to achieve ECBC requirement. All the buildings like commercial, malls, hotel and hospital, all buildings need to comply with the ECBC requirements, irrespective of residential and industrial. Residential and industrial are not part of it, but yes, all commercial buildings, all the types which you can see on your screen, all the types of buildings are applicable in ECBC. ECBC amended states, yes, more than 20 states in India, they have amended this code. They have incorporated this code as a voluntary approach, and more than 15 states in India, including Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh. There are more than 15 states and UTs in India where ECBC have been notified and is now mandatory to implement ECBC in all commercial buildings who are having connected load more than 100 kilowatt, which is a great impact. So now you can see in each and every state, this code very soon, it will be implemented and mandatory everywhere. When you will design and construct, and being a mechanical, electrical, civil, or an architect, you need to comply with the ECBC requirement in any of your project, any of your buildings. ECBC update, yes, ECBC have been launched in 2007 as per the EC Act, Energy Conservation Act. But yes, this ECBC have been now updated. The code of this name is ECBC 2017, which have been released by Ministry of Power in 2017, April 2017, by Mr. Piyush Goyal, who was that time as a honorable minister for Ministry of Power. So now the ECBC 2017 vision is to create net zero. Now there is another create benchmark. So the expectations for designing and construction of the building have been increased. Now the vision is to create net zero. Total energy consumption in your building must be offset or compensated by the energy generation in your building itself. You need to compensate your building consumption and the generation part, so that your energy of total energy consumption of your building is zero or nearly equal to zero. So energy saving and comfort for occupants is the major requirement, and it may respond to the changes in building technology. It will not provide you or not talk about any specific technology. You can use AAC block, you can use fly ash brick, you can use hollow blocks, you can use white tile or white paint, you can use double glazed glass. There is many types of characteristics or parameters which you can implement in your building itself, but there is no specific requirement. You can use single glaze as well, but with single glaze you can use shading devices. You can use double glaze if you cannot provide shading devices. You must need to have achieved the SHGC value for the glass, and if you can consider the SHGC's solar heat gain coefficient, which is majorly applicable for the glass part, for the transparent devices. In addition to it, for the building materials like the wall or roof or any types of building system, there is no specific requirement. You need to achieve the you need to have the building wall having AAC blocks. ECBC will talk about you must need to achieve the U value, which is thermal transmittance. कितनी बाहर की heat that will directly transmit to your internal part of your building. So that is the only requirement which will be discussed by ECBC. It will not talk about any specific technology. There are several components: building envelope, comfort system and controls, lighting and electrical system. ECBC, you must consider this is an energy specific code. First part. Second part is there are only 4 types of systems. This is not a complex, very simple. You can implement at your home as well. You can implement in any of your project where you are involved. Building envelope, wall, roof, and glass. Comfort system, all HVAC type of systems. Lighting, all lighting system, whether it is indoor lighting, whether it is outdoor lighting. Integrate with the control systems. Fourth part is the electrical and renewable energy. Electrical, which includes transformers, motors, power factor. Renewable energy includes solar, biomass, geothermal, any of the technologies which you can implement. These are some basic energy specific requirements only, which talks about ECBC. Technology neutral, yes, renewable energy, representative building, and passive design strategies. 5 types of climatic zones in India: cold, temperate, composite, warm and humid, and hot and dry. If you are in Gujarat, like if you're in Surat, the climate is warm and humid there. Warm and humid because there is more humidity and temperature is also warm. So this is that state, majorly Gujarat or Ahmedabad or Surat area, Vadodara. This is all considered under warm and humid. If you're considered composite, Punjab, Haryana, and Delhi is under composite. Cold climate, yes, Himachal, Sikkim. These are area which is considered under cold climate. Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh. Hot and dry. Hot and dry you can see in the Rajasthan. Temperate, where throughout the year the temperature is same, like Bangalore, Hyderabad. So these are the area, and all India, complete India is divided into 5 climatic zones, which you can see on your screen. Impact, you can, yes, you can save by more than 50% of energy saving in your building by constructing the building as ECBC, ECBC plus, super ECBC, and the another part is the net zero energy building. The target is to create net zero energy building, so that whatever the energy used or consumed by your buildings, you must need to offset your energy generation. So you need to have some renewable energy system, or you need to have some appliances. You have to have some systems like geothermal, biomass based system, solar based system you can implement in your home, in your buildings, so that your building would be net zero energy building. This is the major objective of ECBC 2017. Yes, by the simulation approach, I must aware that you have already had a session 5 to 10 days back on green building, where you have discussed about energy simulation. By implementing the energy simulation in your building, you can save by 40 to 60% energy as comparison to the conventional building. And it can save, if we can implement ECBC across the buildings everywhere in the state, we can save more than 6 billion rupees as financial implications to the Ministry of Power. Yes, there is another part, ECBC, new release, new version, ECBC for residential buildings. Right now, are we ready to take some question, or we can take it at the end, Ankur?
We have 2 questions. If you want, we can take it now.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is one question from Mr. Akshay Gupta, that is ECBC designed to be used by architects or engineers by themselves, or they would require expertise skills to do so? The simulation part is not taught in academics. I believe this is
Yeah.
a big gap in implementation of ECBC even by the government departments of various cities.
What is the government department implications?
That simulation is not taught in academics, and also
Yeah.
it is the major question is ECBC designed to be used by architects or by engineers themselves?
This is the answer is basically, when you will talk about ECBC, it will not talk much related to any technical specific requirement or any major complex requirement which you can use the by only energy simulation techniques. You can also, I've seen you, these are the only 4 systems: building envelope, comfort system. They have 2 different type of approach. One is the prescriptive requirement, one is the whole building simulation. if whole building or energy simulation, if you are not able to do it through energy simulation, you can also do it through a prescriptive approach. Energy simulation is, yes, it can be done by the professional. It requires some skills. It is only computer based software skills. So, but you can also, ECBC requirement can be achieved by the prescriptive requirement. Prescription is, yes, if the doctor prescribed these are the four medicine you need to take it at morning, evening, or night. These are the only basic requirements mentioned in ECBC for building envelope. Like wall, you need to have U value for wall is 0.44. You need to have U value for roof is 0.26. You need to have SHGC for glass is 0.25. These are the only basic requirements for building envelope. If you can consider it comfort system and controls, it will talks about you need to have 30% natural ventilation. You must need to have natural ventilation provision in your building when you will design any internal building system or external. Like there must be a cross ventilation system in your building first. Second, your basic, you need to must meet the basic requirement. Like if you have split or window air conditioner, your split or window air conditioner must be 3-star rating split air conditioner. If you are using VRF system or this centralized air conditioning, ECBC talks about your VRF system must have COP value is just 3.6, and this centralized air conditioner like a screw chiller or centrifugal chiller, you must have COP value is 5.6. So these are the basic requirements which are generally described by ECBC. But in addition, I like to highlight. I think Ankur is also doing many energy simulation and some like of training, ECBC and energy simulation training in various academic colleges. If any of your academic institute would like to take up this course, you must need to contact Ankur. So he'll provide you some technical assistance for guiding you for the energy simulation. If you really like to interested to go for only energy simulation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mani. The second question is ECBC mandatory for buildings in Kerala?
Yes, Kerala is one of the state where SDA is completely separate. SDA is state designated agency who is responsible for implementing ECBC. This is one such state where SDA is separate and it is one of the first state. And yes, in 2016, ECBC is now mandatory and all the buildings have to comply. All the commercial buildings have to comply with ECBC requirements in Kerala. Yes.
Another question is from Mr. Chetan Verma. What is the role of energy conservation in development of futuristic energy plus human settlements?
As I've all seen you during my initial presentation slides, as the buildings are creating day by day, buildings are developing. You can see in your urban areas, major commercial buildings are coming up. You can see your malls, hotels, hospitals, office buildings, educational buildings are coming up day by day. So you can see the demand is increasing, energy demand is increasing. But in the another factor, the resources which you can see, we have very limited natural resources. We have very limited conventional resources by which we are generating energy these days, like coal, natural gas, and petroleum. We are really much dependent these days only such conventional parameters. But we also need to dependent upon the renewable energy system or energy conservation systems, because if the energy demand is increasing, we need to have implement or comply with the requirement, and we need to fulfill our requirements, so that we need to have shift towards energy conservation or energy efficiency in the building, so that it will be last longer for our human survival as well. Yeah. Yes, please. Next. Yeah, Ankur.
How ECBC is different from building fitness indicator of GRIHA?
Griha is one of the Griha is also is the extended version of ECBC. If you can see, Griha is one of the green building system in India. I'll cover up in my upcoming slide for green buildings. And ECBC is mandatory requirement of Griha as well. If you can, because Griha is a green building parameter, and green building covers all the parameters related to landscaping, site selection parameters, energy efficiency parameters, water efficiency parameters, waste parameters, material parameters, and indoor environmental quality. So these are all 6 or 7 parameters are covered under Griha. So this is also green building, and green building majorly corresponds to eco-friendly building and environment responsive building. Yes, that we all covered under the green building parameter in my upcoming slide. Yes. Next.
How it can be implemented in old building? How ECBC can be implemented in old buildings?
In old buildings, yes, in the existing building, you can do the energy audit. First, you need to conduct the energy audit. Energy audit is usually done by the energy auditor, BEE certified, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. They have certified more than 14,000 energy auditors and energy managers in India. So you can have some, you can get enrolled energy auditors on board. They will do a walkthrough audit of your building. So how your building is operating with your existing appliances, how your building envelope have been constructed, how your electrical appliances are being operational, how your lighting systems are being operational, how your comfort system and HVAC systems are being operational. So they will conduct a walkthrough audit of your complete building. And after that, they will find out some of the parameter where your building is not that much operational or that much operating as an energy efficient. So after that, after finding and preparing this walkthrough energy audit report, so you need to do some implementation as per the suggestion or advice recommended by your empaneled energy auditor. So you need to implement, like you need to replace all your HVAC systems with the 5-star rated systems. You need to replace your all your fans by super efficient fans. You can replace your single glazed glass to double glazed glass. You can also provide heat reflective tiles at the rooftop of your building. You can also put insulation if you want to reduce the heat ingress inside the building. You can put insulation over the wall or roof. You can put capacitor bank for increasing your power factor. So if your power factor of your building is around 0.8 or 0.85, you can increase up to more than 0.97, 0.99 by incorporating capacitor banks. And you can replace your if any electrical appliances, lighting system, and you can also integrate with the BMS systems. So in that way, in that sense, your existing building would definitely be converting to energy efficient buildings. Yes.
Okay, Mani, I think we should now continue. There are more
Yeah.
questions,
We can now,
but we should
let,
continue. Then we will ask the questions at the end.
right. So now, what is majorly described by ECBC-R? That is the another new ECBC residential ECBC for residential building is coming up very fast, very aggressively. We are now implementing ECBC for residential building. You can see ECBC residential growth can be forecasted more than 60% energy consumption in the residential building sector, and ECBC 20 ECBC for residential building actually named as Eco Nivas Samhita, ENS. It is usually named as ENS, Eco Nivas Samhita, for which part 1, which majorly described for building an envelope, have been released by our Honorable Power Minister, Mr. R.K. Singh from Ministry of Power, who have released this code in December 2018, on 14 December, on National Energy Conservation Day. So this code has been released in 2018. It described how many parameters. So these are the simple parameters for residential building. You can see on your screen. First is the orientation. Orientation is the one of the part from where you can define your building orientation in such a way that your glass, your placement of windows, your placement of shading devices, your exposure of your building to the directions like south direction, west direction are majorly heat penetration area. So we need to reduce our heat penetration from south and west. So our building orientation in such a way so that outside heat must not be directly impacting our internal surface of our buildings. Another in addition is the wall type, how we are creating. There are several examples for you. Brick wall, cavity wall, AAC wall, brick wall with insulation and RCC wall. These are the several types of wall um, wall parameters, wall parameters which you can wall assembly basically wall assembly which you can use in your building as a wall type to reduce the outside heat to directly coming inside of the building. And then addition, it is window size. So your window size, window wall ratio should not be more than 40% of the total wall area. So wall window area should not be more than 40% of the total wall area. This is majorly described under this ECBC. And our window placement should be in such a way that if we need to reduce the window placement over the south and west direction, if we have some windows over the south and west direction, we can reduce it by putting shading devices over the windows. Another is window and wall. U value. How you can reduce the U value? U value is the thermal transmittance. How the outside heat is directly transmitting to your internal part of the building. U value is majorly described by in reciprocal to the resistance of the wall assembly. U is 1 upon R. R is majorly described by D upon K. D is the uh, thickness of your wall and K is the thermal conductivity of the any material which you will be using in your building. So K is the thermal conductivity which you will be received by your vendor or manufacturer, and D is the thermal uh, uh, D is the thickness of your assembly, thickness of your wall assembly. So R is equal to D by K and U is equal to 1 upon R. So in that way, in that manner, you can calculate the U value and your building envelope would be more energy efficient if you will. Your U value of your wall and roof is less than 0.4. The glazing part, single and double glazing. It will not talk about you must use double glaze. It will not talk about you must use single glaze. But yes, you can put single glazing or double glazing, but you must need to achieve this SHGC is solar heat gain coefficient must be less than 0.25. So VLT, yes, but in that case, if you are putting in single glazed glass and you need to meet the SHGC, and you can put the black glass, but this must not be the requirement. If you can put the black glass or black window so that your SHGC can be met with the single glaze, but your VLT in the same manner needs to be admitted inside the building. VLT is visual light transmitter, the outside light which is available, the natural light which is available in the environment, you must need to capture the natural light through your windows, because your objective to put the glass is majorly due to capture natural daylight inside the building. So you must need to achieve VLT which must be minimum 30% you need to capture as VLT with the windows part. Improve daylighting. Yes, outside light you need to capture as many as you can so that you have less dependence on the artificial lighting. Yes, for the thermal comfort, if you are sitting at your home, if you are sitting at your office or any buildings, commercial building, because we have discussed that we are spending more than 90% of the time in the indoors only. And in this critical crisis during this coronavirus time, we are spending 100% of our time in the indoors. and we need to achieve our thermal comfort requirement, which is 22 to 27 degree, depending upon the human comfort requirement. So 22 to 27 degrees Celsius is our thermal comfort requirement, and we must need to achieve by compromising all the parameters which we have discussed. Improve natural ventilation. Yes, you must have some provision of natural ventilation, cross ventilation. You must need to achieve the limit heat gains in the summer season and limit heat loss in the winter season. Your building envelope or your HVAC systems in such a way that your limit heat gains in summer season, because बाहर की heat अंदर नहीं आए in the summer, and अंदर का जो environment maintained अगर हमने with the heaters or boilers we have maintained this inside the rooms during the winter season, as the we have maintained 20-25 degrees Celsius temperature, and the limit we need to focus upon limit heat loss in the winter season. So these are the major parameters which we also need to focus in the HVAC system. Another parameter is the renewable energy. You also need to integrate renewable energy system or at your rooftop of your building, or you can also purchase it offline from the adjacent buildings, or you can also purchase it from the electricity regulatory commission. So green buildings, yes, that was your answer. Why we are discussing about how it can be correlate with ECBC. ECBC is only talk about energy. You can see here, green building is the one where we are is the practice of increasing the efficiency with buildings with their and their sites which use energy, which use water, which use materials, and of reducing impacts on human health and the environment for the entire life cycle of the building. So it is a major great advantage. Green building would be completely eco-friendly building, environment friendly building, and it comprises all of the material which would be more efficient, and it would be using economic use of all resources in your buildings. Yes, green building is a one which consumes less water, less energy, conserve more natural resources, it generates less waste, and provides healthier space for occupants. The benefits of the green buildings are environmental, social, and economic benefits. Government is also providing tax incentives like 5% extra FAR. Many of the states are providing incentive for construction of ECBC buildings as well. Like 15% rebate on property tax is being provided. 5% to 15% extra FAR is being provided. FAR is floor area ratio, is being provided by many of the state government for construction of the green buildings. What is the impact? Impact would be your carbon emission would be reduced by 35%, water use by 40%, energy use by 50%, and solid waste by 70%. And any building, any classification like green metros, green cities, green healthcare. So we all know these days we are how much focusing on green healthcare, or how the green healthcare facility must be more energy efficient, environment sustainable, and must be impacting and compacting with the all natural calamities like this. Green cities, green campus, green townships, all types of building are covered under green building these days. Recommended building material, yes, this is your answer now. So these are all have read. This is the type which we need to discuss. These are only focused upon this. So how we can achieve this ECBC and green building? What are the various parameters we need to provide? What are the various material we need to integrate in a building? This is your answer. Answer is you need to create your wall assembly in such a way that your U value must be minimized. Like your U value or your wall assembly in such a way that you can create a cavity wall, you can create with the perforated bricks, fly ash bricks, hollow blocks, AAC blocks, many of that material which you can use in your buildings. You can see here, as many of your thickness is increased in your buildings, your heat transmittance is as less. 3 to 4 times your heat transfer would be less as comparison to the conventional wall which we are creating these days. Like we are creating 4.5-inch or 9-inch wall, 9-inch brick wall. We are creating these days as a conventional practice. But if we can create fly ash bricks or hollow blocks with insulation, or we can increase our thermal insulation, we can reduce our we can reduce minimum as U value, and we can reduce heat gain inside the building. Shading devices in such a way that your shading devices, like horizontally or vertically, such some of the where it provides you to capture natural light inside available inside the available outside the environment. You can capture natural daylight so that your heat gain would directly not impacting to the interior part of the building. So shading devices will help you to capture daylight but not the heat gain. These are the roof parameters, like brick pergola. We are all constructing it as complete conventional practices. But if we can use it, insulation below deck or above deck, we can integrate all the parameters by using green roof, white paint, white roof, and the insulation. Shading devices that you all seen, single glaze, double glaze glass with UPVC frame we can use to constructing our building, or glass techniques as double glazed glass. For lighting, yes, for the internal external lighting, indoor and outdoor as well, we can use LED lightings, we can use the sensors for occupancy and motion sensors. And yes, we can also use the lighting for solar lighting as well, for the exterior or outdoor lighting as well. You all are aware that glass building will add some heat ingress to the building. But if we can, because why we are creating such type of building, to create more good aesthetic view, and the time would be less, but the energy consumption, we are not focusing for the energy consumption. Energy consumption, if you would like to construct only the glass building, yes, there is a another alternative available. You can use this building as a glass building, provide some shading devices. That direct grass would majorly focus on the staircases or any areas which are non regularly occupied. You can put direct glass over there, and the regularly occupied areas over the windows, you must need to provide the shading devices, so that you're building in such a way that your building would not directly heat ingress or solar heat gain inside the building, and your energy saving in the building as well. Latest energy efficient HVAC system, HVAC technologies, we all integrated B3 star rated as a mandatory. Automatic controls are mandatory. Provide natural ventilations are mandatory. In addition to this, VRV systems, where you can integrate one outdoor with more than 40 indoor systems, 40 indoor rooms, one outdoor, 40 indoors. So it will provide you, enhance your energy saving. District cooling system, I'm sure you all are aware, as there is one such plant in Ahmedabad only, Gift City. Radiant cooling system, geothermal chillers, we all know in the big commercial buildings, big educational or mall and hotel and hospital, we are using chiller based system, centralized air conditioning, whether it is centrifugal or screw chiller, we are using or reciprocating. Thermal energy storage, boilers, unitary heat pumps. These are some energy efficient HVAC technologies. This is for your reference, which you can see on your screen, and you can take advantage of it. You can integrate in your building and get energy saving most out of it. So another is renewable energy integration. This is one such plant which has been integrated at Dera Byas and Amritsar. One such largest rooftop solar PV plant where you can generate energy and can offset and provide energy, electricity. You can also provide electricity to those areas where there is no provision of even electricity at 24 hours. So this is another first example, canal top solar power plant by 2.5 megawatt. This is one such example. Over the canals, over the lakes, over the ports, which you can also use this solar PV system as an energy generation system. You can also offset your energy consumption by this energy generation. Green building rating systems. So 4 types of rating system in India. First is Griha, second is GEM, third is IGBC, and fourth is LEED. So Griha is rating from 1 star to 5 star. GEM is rating from GEM 1 to GEM 5. IGBC is rating from certified silver, gold, platinum, and LEED is also claiming as certified silver, gold, platinum. And in IGBC these days is super platinum as well. So these are the 4 types of rating system. You can get this rating, you can get appreciation, you can get your building recognized, and also get 5% to 15% extra FAR, which is also being provided by the government bodies as well. So these are some rating systems. Griha GEM is GEM 1 to 5, Griha 1 to 5. These are types of ratings which you will get after getting your building certified and complied with such types of rating levels. So advantages, you all can see 40%, 30 to 40% energy saving, more occupant productivity, extra FAR, water saving, energy consumption is reduced, water is reduced, waste is reduced, your better health quality will be improved, better IEQ and indoor environmental quality will be improved, and your generation part through electricity, your renewable energy system will be increased. In addition to this, your occupant productivity will be more better. Your occupant in the green building would be, there is a study which I have seen a few days back. There is a one study by Bloomberg. So your building occupants, when you are living in any green building, your productivity would be increased by 40%, and you can also market better your building as a green building, as better eco-friendly environment responsive building. This is the today's requirement only. So this is a case study, Indira Paryavan Bhavan. This is one such example. You can see it is constructed at New Delhi, one of the 5-star rated building, and one of the net zero energy building constructed by CPWD, used by MOEF, and you can see over the complete roof it is integrated with the solar PV, and all the glass is double glazed, complete shading with the trees, and the building envelope with the AAC with insulation. All such energy efficient parameters have been included. So there is also one example in your area in Gujarat as well. One is CEPT University. There is building one which have been created is net zero energy building. These are some example. Indian Habitat Center, yes, where all the national and international conferences are ongoing these days. And this is one of the example which is Griha 5-star and complete one green building. This is one such example from Punjab as well, Jange-Zadi Kartarpur. It is this is the historical monument building constructed by the government and designed by one such renowned architect based out at Delhi. And this is a 300 crore project, historical monument. And you can see all the type of parameter like building envelope, wall, roof, glass, HVAC, electrical, acoustic, cavity wall with insulation, heat reflective tile with RCC with insulation, glass double glaze with UPVC, HVAC VRV with 3.6 COP, electrical system LED with transformer, cabling, power factor 0.96 they have achieved, acoustics, auditoriums with proper acoustic insulation, and they have integrated PMS system for proper metering and monitoring. One such example, Peda building. Yes, I am sitting there. So this is one of the building where complete during the daytime there is no requirement of natural lighting. There is no requirement of artificial lighting, and there is no requirement of HVAC system at the complete throughout the building in the winter and summer season as well. So there is complete provision of natural thing everywhere. Natural air. By this we are using natural ventilation, cross ventilation. Natural sun. Yes, our atrium area is integrated with solar PV system where we are generating energy. And in the natural light, yes, we are capturing more natural light so that we can't depend on the artificial lighting. So yes, these are some system which is B 5-star rated building and Griha exemplary performance award rated building. The Hareda building is in Panchkula. It is a Haryana Renewable Energy Development Agency, like it is in Gujarat. In Geda is Gujarat Energy Development Agency. In Haryana, it is Haryana Renewable Energy Development Agency. It is one such Griha 5-star rated building. The building design you can see in the first topmost left part of the building is the shading devices. In the south direction you can see, and the glass orientation you can see. The building have been designed and constructed with all building material in such a way that your dependence on the artificial resources like artificial lighting, artificial resources in HVAC like HVAC systems, or many of the system which they are not using and building operational. And well, EPI of this building, EPI is Energy Performance Index. Any of the building having EPI less than 90 would be B 5-star rated building, and it is one such building would be most energy efficient building and can be also qualified for as well. EPI is Energy Performance Index, which can be termed as how many units you are consuming per square meter of your area of your building. KWH per square meter per area or per year. So KWH per square meter per year. So EPI, if it is less than 90, your building would be 5-star rated, uh, 5-star rated building as per BEE, and it is also qualified for the green building ratings as well. And all such resources are available on a website. And way forward is we all can join head together like any architect, any builder, any consultant, any contractor or engineer should also provide extending support to make ECBC compliant building in these states. Objective is to save our planet, to make eco-friendly and environment responsive buildings, to construct and design energy efficient and green buildings, and also set AC at 24 degrees Celsius. This is also a pledge or one of the momentum which have been released by Ministry of Power as well. In ISRE, we have also developed 1 degree campaign where we are also encouraging all the members and all the users of where air conditioners are being used. We need to set AC at minimum 24, and if you will raise by 1 degree, you will reduce your energy consumption by 6%. अगर 24 डिग्री के बाद अगर आप 1 डिग्री और इंक्रीज करते हैं, लाइक 25 डिग्री पे चलाते हैं, तो 24 से 25 चलाने में आपका 6% का एनर्जी कंजप्शन you will save in your building as well. So take pledge. Summer season is coming up, so set AC at 24 degrees so that our target is to reduce energy consumption. And it is the last slide. The future end with us. If you all have listened, how we can implement and how we can take it forward in our future, in our projects. Save Earth, save planet, save energy, save water, and save waste. It is our objective in our being a most responsible citizen of our country, and it is a global push, which is a majorly global push towards sustainable future, and we are also a part of it. So yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mani. Let's start the Q&A first.
Yeah.
There is one question from Mr. Vimal Rajput.
Okay.
Is there any, there is one question from Mr. Junaid Khan. Is any key point which we can check or implement in ECBC?
Sir, I have already shown you in my slides. There are all parameters like you need to concentrate on first the orientation part, second the window wall ratio, third is the building wall assembly, like it is wall or roof. You need to have the better wall or roof assembly. Next is the glass, selection of glass like single glaze, double glaze with the proper shading devices. Another parameter is the lighting, which you can use the LED lighting with sensor based technologies. In addition, you can use the HVAC system with proper natural ventilation. You can use the star rating system with minimum 3-star rating appliances, but I would recommend you to use 5-star rated appliances in your building, whether it is air conditioner, whether it is refrigerator or any television or any oven or any type of appliances in your building should be 5-star rated. So, and if you're any transformer, if you're any designing commercial building, you can use 5-star transformers. You can use the power factor 0.97 as minimum, and transformers, motors you must use I2 or I3 rated IE2, which is a standard for motors. You can use I3 rated motors in your building or facility or industry.
Yeah.
So these are all parameters.
Yeah, man. The next question is from Mr. Nagendra Narayan. He is asking that, can you please differentiate between ECBC and Eco Niwas Samhita 2018? Which one is the better
Yeah.
one?
No. There is no comparison between both of these, because ECBC is majorly for the commercial building. Eco Niwas Samhita or ENS is for the residential building. This is the only comparison it is have. So all the parameters like building envelope, HVAC, comfort system, lighting, all the parameters just or maximum of it is are same. But ENS is for the residential building, and till date only part 1 for building envelope have been developed for ENS, not for HVAC or comfort system and controls. But ECBC is for commercial building, and all types of parameters like building envelope, comfort system, lighting, and electrical and renewable, they have been implemented, and now it is being mandatory in the states.
Mr. Mohammad Mubashir, you can please ask your question. You have raised your hand. Okay. Mani, let's go to next question. Is there a template for ECBC compliance report? If yes, where can I get it from?
Yes, this is one such good question. And what is the template, and what are the checklist? So checklist you can see on any of your agency like SDA, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. First, Bureau of Energy Efficiency is main agency which is implementing this ECBC and ECBCR residential building, which is known as ENS. First, you can get it from these website, and after that, you can get it from any SDA like GEDA, RRECL, PEDA, HAREDA, MEDA, Maharashtra Energy Development Agency, Gujarat Energy Development Agency. Any of the SDA you can access to their website, and you can get the checklist for ECBC compliant. And in addition to it, you will also get it on the UNDP website. You can also get it on AEEE website. You can get also Niti Aayog. So the Niti Aayog. So there are some agencies who are, or Shakti Foundation as well. So you can also get it from these agencies as well. And website, it is available free of cost.
So next question is from Mr. Chetan Verma. What are the parameters of energy conservation for developing energy plus human settlements for hot and dry climate?
Hot and dry.
Yes.
Yeah. Hot and dry is majorly is the Rajasthan area. Rajasthan, where Jaipur, Jodhpur, majorly Ajmer. These are the area. Many of the areas are being covered under Rajasthan, and these are the areas where we need to more focus upon the building envelope part, because there is more heat intensive areas in this hot and dry climatic condition. So you need to major focus on the building envelope, and after that you can provide the natural ventilation, because there is a these are the location like Jaipur and Jodhpur, or many of the areas in Rajasthan where there is a complete provision of natural ventilation, or when there is uh, evening or night, at night time there is complete the cold air which is running, and we can make the most maximum use of it, and we can provide a natural ventilation and building and manner. First is the orientation and the heat in ingress areas, majorly heat penetration areas like south and west direction. We need to design in such a way that in south and west direction we can provide the non-regularly occupied areas like the storerooms, the washrooms, the staircases, so that it will not directly impacting to our regularly occupied areas. And you also need to focus upon your five-star air conditioner if you need to provide, and you can also concentrate upon in hot and dry evaporative evaporative type of cooling techniques, where refrigerant is not being used. Refrigerant is one such major parameter which can also cause global warming CO2 emission to the environment. So if we can more focus towards evaporative air cooling systems, so that it would be great for all of us, and the building would definitely be energy efficient and green buildings.
Okay, Mani. The next question is from Mr. Junaid Khan. Is any short-term course available to learn and become expert in energy conservation?
Yeah, if you are from Surat, then you must contact with Ankur.
Okay.
Otherwise, there are many courses ongoing in India. You can search it online, and there are many courses these days, as everything is online now. And digital courses and digital platform, many of the courses are ongoing. You can take advantage of it. Yes, there are many courses on ECBC, green building, energy simulation, daylighting simulation analysis. Many of the courses are ongoing.
Okay. There is another question. Can you please explain the process of ECBC compliance for a building?
There is one.
Can you please explain the process of ECBC compliance for a building?
Yeah, I've shown all the examples, like ECBC building. Like these are the sample which you can see. These are the sample. This is one such building which have been designed. I think you all can see on your screen Zangezadi, Kartarpur, Punjab, where we have conduct detailed analysis how this building have been constructed as an ECBC or energy efficient or green building. So this building have been designed in such a way that your natural ventilation, your uh, outside heat should be minimized in such a way that your building must be inside thermal comfortable. So in their building envelope for the wall part, they have used cavity wall with fly ash plus styrofoam insulation. So the wall assembly have been constructed in such a way that your U value should be minimized, and your and the wall is more than energy efficient. Building envelope roof, you can use heat reflective tiles over the RCC. RCC is reinforced cement concrete, और the जिसे हम लेंटर हिंदी में बोलते हैं RCC, heat reflective tile plus lower deck or above deck insulation. In this building, they have used lower deck insulation. Lower deck means below the RCC, and plus false ceiling they have used. In parameter is building envelope glass. They have used double glazed glass with UPVC frame, right? Double glazed glass with UPVC. They have the SHGC of that is, I think, below 2.25. HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. They have used VRV system with 3.6 COP. And yes, the mandatory requirement, which is natural ventilation, they have incorporated very well in their building. VRV system with 3.6 COP they have installed. Electrical system is LED lighting plus sensors plus transformer is 5-star. Cabling, yes, where power distribution losses is less than 1%. Power factor is 0.96 minimum they have achieved. Acoustic insulation, they have made auditorium like this round type of globes you are seeing in this building. So 6 type of globe, 3 at left side, at right side. So these are 6 globes in this building, and these are and out of 6, 2 are auditoriums, and they have designed that auditorium at the verge of the parliament, which have designed this India Parliament at Delhi. So they have designed this auditorium with proper acoustic insulation and the sound systems. In addition to this, mean metering and monitoring system, they have provided one room where complete energy consumption is being monitored at their BMS room with the proper system and complete metering and monitoring. So this is one such case study or example which you can take it forward and you can implement in your building.
Next question is from Mr. Chetan Sakharkar. Uh, how to register the website registration and official procedure for the compliance of ECBC?
So yeah, for the compliance and implementation, when you will design as an architect, if you will design a building, you need to go for the municipal corporation or urban development authorities, like like in Delhi, if you can say, there is a DDA, Delhi Development Authority, and is municipal corporation who are responsible for approval of your building plans. So when you will be uh, getting your building plans, they will need to provide this ECBC is one of the mandatory requirement. So your building plans will be approved only then your building is ECBC compliant. So these are the implementing authorities like development authorities or municipal corporation from where your building is getting cleared. And they will provide you some forms. If they have created any forms at their own level, they will provide you that forms. You need to get it filled with a preparation of ECBC report by the expert ECBC professional. You need to submit it to the municipal corporation and your building would be ECBC compliant and the implementation can be achieved.
The next question is from Mr. Brajesh Sanodia. The guidelines of ECBC are mandatory or not at this time?
At this stage, I've already mentioned yes. At this stage, it is not mandatory. It is at the voluntary level. It have been released by because till date only part one have been released, which is only on building envelope, and it have been designed and released by Ministry of Power, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And once the part two for comfort system and lighting system will be released, it will be integrated at it is one, and in the adjacent part the energy a conservation act which we were talking about, where we are referring ECBC and ENS, energy conservation act is also being modified where residential uh, ECBC is one of the part will be as a mandatory. After then ECBC for residential building will be mandatory. But yes, you can take an initiative at this stage because the requirement of ECBCR is very less and it is very general common, is adaptable to any building occupant or any building owner of the residential building. You can design and implement at your own level, yes, but it is at the voluntary stage.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Akshay Gupta. Okay. On the last page of ECBC are a list of softwares for daylight simulation. But during my research, I found that some of the softwares listed did not have the ability to simulate useful daylight illuminance UDI as per the criteria mentioned in ECBC. That is percentage of area for at least 90% of the daylit hours, 100 to 2000 lux. Most
Right.
softwares
So yes,
listed don't have the
yes,
feature to
please.
do the same. So can you please suggest on
Yeah.
this?
Yes, basically, these are the ECBC resources which you can see on your screen. So there are some ECBC tip sheets, user guide, notification incentive schemes, and ECBC app is also available on your smartphone, on your Android and iPhone as well. So there is an app is also available which you can see, and there is many UDI calculators as an Excel sheet as well, many UDI calculators, and you must refer the website of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, where you can have the daylight simulation software as well. Few of the simulation software are free as well, and you can take reference, and you can also try it on Ecotech. But now Ecotech is not the authorized software for for this calculation. No, you can use the DaySim software for this daylighting simulation and UDI calculation. But now you can also search it at on the Google as a free resource. You can search it out as UDI calculator. You will definitely get. You can download the ECBC app on your smartphone. In addition to it, you must subscribe to Bureau of Energy Efficiency website where you will get this details, and definitely yes.
Yeah. The next question is from Mr. Pradeep Kharbanda. any idea to replace RCC buildings to save energy?
Any idea to replace RCC buildings?
Yes.
Uh, Majorly, as if we are directly shifting from conventional buildings as being constructed with the RCC, and we can use the same material enhancement we can do. As we already mentioned, we can use few of the material like AAC or fly ash bricks or the hollow blocks as a sample kind of material which we can use in our buildings, so that we can slowly shifting from the conventional practices to the more energy efficient practices.
Okay. The
Yes.
next question is, why is it mandatory to set AC at 24 degrees Celsius? Why can't we keep it at a lower fixed temperature?
Uh, there is no mandatory, basically, there is not mandatory approach, but yes, very soon all the manufacturers will, these days we are getting a set point, default set point is 16 or 18 degree as per the default setting point. But as per the Ministry of Power guidelines, and they have issued a recommendation or suggestive recommendation to all the HVAC industry manufacturers and the HVAC users, so that we can reduce our AC energy consumption if we can set it at 24 degree. Because why they have provided this as suggestive recommendation? Because as a human body, we can have our human thermal comfort requirement is around 24 degrees Celsius, and what we are doing, we are setting up temperature at 18 degree, and then taking up a blanket, and we are usually living and sleeping at our homes. So we are usually doing that at 18 degrees. We can by after 1 or 2 years, we can very soon it will be implemented by the manufacturer itself. The default set point minimum would be 24. You can keep it your AC at 24, even at 27 degree. In my home, at my air conditioner in my room, I always set my air conditioner at 28 degrees Celsius and fan running at speed of 3. So I will be very much comfortable. There is no blanket required. There is no electricity my being consumed. So I have saved it at my energy consumption part as well. And I am very much comfortable with the thermally comfortable part in the inside temperature. If I can run air conditioning at 28 degree with three number fan speed. So I must encourage you to please keep it at, because it is a guideline or recommendation, because our thermal comfort requirement meeting around 24 as per the global analysis which you have seen, as per the feedback from all over the world.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Mohammed Mubashir. Can we make old buildings to green building? What possible retrofitting can be done?
Oh yeah, that I think I have already covered in my presentation, and it was last question as well. For the existing building, we need to conduct first as the energy audit by the energy auditor, and then need to identify the energy efficiency measure, how we can integrate and how we can implement with the less cost and best energy efficient features, and we can get it also certified from the various green building rating authorities as well, so that existing building would definitely convert it to in that way with your green building and energy efficient building as well.
Okay. Next question is, what type of courses or softwares should HVAC engineers go for to pursue consultancy?
uh, what type of course?
Yes.
Yeah, what type of course we need to go for HVAC, right?
Yeah, it right.
Yeah, there are many courses. I have already mentioned it out. Yeah, in ISHRE as well, in ASHRE as well. ASHRE, yesterday only we have organized one workshop or a digital webinar for ASHRE certification. We can also get it ISHRE certified. There are many courses running by ISHRE as well. You can get it as ISHRE certified professional for HVAC designer, HVAC technician, HVAC service design professional, ASHRE clean room design professional. So there are many types of courses which are being run by ISHRE and ASHRE at national and international level, so that you can get a